Hey, welcome back to the Nasdaq Futures live stream. And welcome back to everyone who was here this morning for the morning session. And also to everyone just joining for the first time today for the afternoon session. Welcome in. Glad to have you. Hopefully we get some good price action and a couple entries or so this afternoon. On the screen now, you can see the entry that I sort of showed before, right before we went to lunch. I didn't join into this entry. I didn't want to manage it during lunch. And it looks like we got close to TPing out, but it didn't quite make it. TP was set at 51 and a quarter points. It made it to about 49 points, about 2 points short. We'll see if we actually get there or not, or if it retraces all the way back. Hopefully some of you were able to get into that entry and either get some profits or you're still in. We'll give everyone just a couple more minutes to join and we'll get going. TJ called us short on oil. All right. Congrats on that. Glad you were able to secure some profits before it moved back into its original position. Hey, Queen, welcome back. One trouble, last one. All right, our current macro coming out of lunch is almost over. So we swept this high and then came back and swept the low. Let's see if now we can get back above 18,316. Okay, Robin's back as well. All right, let's see what we get here. All right, let's go ahead and just take a peek at our other, at the sister the sister indices and just see if everyone's moving in sync together. And no, that is not the case. Look at the Dow. But I did think Dow was going to trade into this fair value gap and test that to see if it was going to support price. So far, it's rejected out twice, both the 11 o'clock as well as the lunch hour. And then we see this hour so far, it touched the very, very upper extreme, and now it's already buying out. And then we have the dollar at the very lower end of this screen here. Let me stretch it a bit. Looks like it's going to sweep the low from the 11 o'clock hour, which would signal continuation of the dollar looking for sell side. So also want to remind you that before lunch, we did have the S&P reach all-time highs, which, I mean, if you've been following price for the last, ever since this year started, you know that we've been hitting all-time highs either every week or every other week. So it's not that surprising. However, it does support our bullish sentiment that we've had, that's continuing. And the fact that it's already hit S&P, we can generally think or believe that we're going to get the same thing for Nasdaq unless we start seeing reversal patterns or things like that. So let's get back over to NQ now. Miss, welcome back. Good afternoon to you. All right, looking at price, it looks like we did make a recovery and pulled above these highs here. The price wants to be supported here and continue its bullish move up. You know, one thing I didn't do this morning is once we got to the New York session at 10, I didn't go back and take a look at where the session highs and lows were. I'm just going to go off on a whim and say, I know we took out the session high, so we don't have to worry about that. Yep, so here's the New York high. We definitely took that out, so that's not a problem. It's the New York low I'm concerned about. So let's go and find that. Okay, so New York low was set at 710, And then we can see there was a retracement almost to the New York low at just after 8 o'clock, but it never quite hit that. There's a small gap there. So I'm going to put this up on. There we go. All right, one more minute on this candle. See if it can't get above the fair value gap and stay above it. All right, if we are able to complete this trade to TP and get up to this bearish fair value gap above at 18,336, that is our weekly open price. So not only will we have a new week opening gap there, which may be a hindrance to price action, we'll see, but that will also switch over our weekly candle. From right now, it's been a bearish candle all week, and we could actually flip that over to being a bullish candle if we can trade above that. Okay, so we did close above the fair value gap. Okay, so we have relative equal highs here that we were able to break, but we don't want to see a rejection from this level. Do we have any newcomers where it's their first session joining, first time joining? If this is your first time, if your first session, go ahead and introduce yourself in the chat. Just where you're coming from and how long you've been trading. Even if you aren't a newcomer, if you've never really said anything in the chat room, but you've been here for several sessions, go ahead and introduce yourself as well. Yeah, Vivian, I wonder if anyone's in this this long that I showed just before lunch. It's still active, so I wonder if anyone joined that one. They could have even gotten the retracement here at 12:40 if anyone was sitting there during lunch. Oh, from Vegas. All right. Okay. Drop a D. Long bet on ES. Yeah, ES was out in front earlier. Already eclipsed its all-time high. Been trading for about 8 months. Okay. All right. This one here. Oops. Let me go ahead and keep extending this out just in case we get a retracement. Yeah, I remember you, Brian, this morning. Okay. New to futures, moving over from Forex. All right. Trading for about 18 months. All right. Okay. Thanks for that reminder to everyone, Robin. Yeah, go ahead and hit the like button if you are enjoying the content or if you've enjoyed it before. You know what the likes do for YouTube. It helps the algorithm send other traders to our room. So let's see if we can't grow and become a bit larger than we are right now. Khalid, let's see, TGIF today. Possible, possible. I know it's typically a weekly thing, so TGIF would be tomorrow on the weekly candle. But if you're just looking at the daily candle, it's definitely possible when we get towards. I think once we get to 2 o'clock, then we can look and see if it's at its high of the day and it still doesn't have a wick to the upside, and we haven't experienced a full-fledged retracement of any kind. Because right now I'm looking at the range, and the range is, or at least before lunch, I looked at the range, and it was close to 400 points. So it's probably something similar. So looking for a 20% retracement. All right, so about 80 points, anywhere from 80 to 120 point retracement is what we're going to be looking for. So yes, we get closer, especially if we see this trade right here work out and it trades up to this fair value gap above, and we start seeing some issues and maybe it pulling back a bit, then we can look for anywhere from 80 to 120 points down. Right, so that'll be in the 750 to 700 range. 18, I'm sorry, not 7, 18,250 to 18,200 range. Oh, from Washington. Okay. Been trading about 5 months. All right. Well, I'm glad you're having a good time, Molly. I remember this morning you said you had met your goal for the day and then you had to run. I'm so glad you came back to join for the afternoon session. And yeah, if there's anything I can help with, just don't be afraid to ask questions. Hey, Shark, welcome back. Okay, let's see if we can finally get a closure above this high here. Got another minute. Seems like we're running up against the new week opening gap. That's really where we are. More and more every session. Awesome. Awesome. Gonzalo, good afternoon. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the channel. Okay, at some point. All right. Yeah, Brian, when you get ready, if you've never used Topstep before, you'll get 20% off using the link in my description. I also tagged it up top. Real, I am not in a position. This is a leftover from the morning session as we were closing off going to lunch. I just identified this as a setup, and some people took it, some didn't, but I did not take it. And so I'm just still watching it to see if it works out and delivers the 50 points that I set it up to do. All right, that last candle did not close above the swing high over here. So we've had two breaks. Neither have closed above. Let's see if this candle here does it on the third option or the third try. Still another 45 seconds. I was just about to say maybe this was the candle to do it, and sure enough, closed right on top of it, but it retraced at the very end. You know what? Let's move up to the 5 minute and watch price from there. Gonzalo, you will, as long as you just stick with it, no matter how difficult it gets. Don't give up. Khaled, are you talking about the TGIF we were talking about earlier? Oh, Brian, it's in the description of the video. Go in the description. You should be able to Let me find it for you. There we go. There's delivery right there. Just hit. Like 2 ticks, 3 ticks, something like that. Right at 132. Perfect timing, because that's usually when you get that reversal or something crazy happening. So it hit immediately at 130, and then we see it starting to pull back a bit. Oh, I'm sorry. I did change my description. I'm sorry. Go into where you see social media, and there's a bento.me link, and you click in there, and you should have there should be a link in there to the Discord. If it's not there, then my apologies. Maybe I made a mistake and deleted it. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's in there. Oh, 331 was TP, and it so far has delivered to 332. So it got it by 1 point. Let's see how high it'll go. But I'm going to go ahead and remove this just so it's easier to see now that we saw it deliver. All right, Vivian. Vivian closed her long. Sweet. Hopefully you got what you wanted from it. Let's see. Who's that? Khaled. So you asked me what would be the confirmation of that. Okay. So what you're going to want to look for is you're going to look for a reversal pattern. And when you find a reversal pattern, then that's what it's going to be, right? And I told you that that we should be looking for anywhere from 80 to 120 points from this high of where we are. So whatever the high of the day is when it starts the reversal pattern. If it started it right now, the high is at 831. So we'd be looking for it to get back down to like 750 or so. And I'm looking at, why do I keep saying 750? It's not 831, it's 331. So 250. Right, 250 is right here. And then we see that we have a 1 hour fair value gap at 240. So that might actually be where you would take your TP, expecting maybe price to find some support here and then continue on its way back up. And that'll be the retracement down for essentially that 20% retracement level. But you'll be looking for a reversal pattern somewhere up here whenever it gets to its extreme. And a reversal pattern will be something like this, where you have a low, high, a low, higher high, right? Low, higher high, lower low. That's going to be you there. And you're going to be looking for that entry here, somewhere above here, for a move down. Right? Because from the second leg down to the second leg, from the second leg's high down to the low of that retracement, that's going to be your breaker. And that's what you're going to look for. Oh, great. Glad you're in, Brian. Excellent. All right. Looks like price went a little bit higher to about the midpoint of this fair value gap here, shorting or stopping at 344 and a quarter. So we'll just keep watching to see if it wants to continue on and take out the Monday New York high, which we still have on the board at 352, 18,352. Yeah, Queen, when I was looking at that, I had 833 as like a short-term target there for the market maker buy model. Like it can just reverse here and that'll be the conclusion, or it can run all the way to the top and take out those equal highs at 377, which is the all-time high that we all know. So we have another 30, 35 points at the most. All right, good to see the Dow is stable now. It looks like it's so far it's buying for the hour. Yeah, Vivian, I know that happens. That happens a lot of times, and the reason is it's extremely difficult to choose tops and bottoms. That's why it's just important to choose what you find as the TP that you're comfortable with. Once you achieve that, be happy that you achieved your goal. Whether someone else gets more than you do, that's irrelevant. You got what you came to get. So, regardless, I would be happy with that trade. And you'll long as you continue to develop as a trader, you'll find that you'll be able to hold a little bit longer. And yes, it does reverse on you sometimes. But like I said, you'll learn to hold them a little longer, and you'll also learn to identify what the ultimate target is on a higher time frame a little better, and that'll allow you to maximize your profits. Breaker that got violated. Let's see. Invest. Where got violated? Where are you? Which candle are you referring to? So on the 5 minute, which time? Yeah, I saw that, Ray. It's actually a good thing to see the dollar continuing to push downwards. 12:30, 12:30. Okay, so here. Mm, no, so the blue area here is the breaker, and it was on the 2 minute. So I'll go back there and I'll show you. So the breaker is this movement here. So we had a small pullback, and then we had an up movement. We had a lower low than this one. Then we had a higher high than this one, which creates the breaker. Right? And so the breaker would have been this piece, stretch that across. And no, it never got violated. So a violation of the breaker would be if this move right here would have traded here and closed, and then we probably saw something like this. Then it would have been a violation of the breaker. But as long as, even if it trades below, as long as it doesn't close below, it hasn't violated. I mean, what we had here when price was trading back down, if you said 12:30, so that's going to be somewhere in this range. Let me go back to the 5 minute just to make sure we're on the same time. So we had 12:30, you said the one before that. So no, none of this is violation of the breaker. This is just trading down back into the previous breaker. And up in this area, I don't see a breaker formation. Now you had a violation of a swing low right here. So this at 12:30, it formed a swing low, which then following it, it took it out. Right here, you had a swing low as well that was created at 12:20, and then we had 12:30 violate that swing low. But in this price leg here, the protected low was down here, right? So the protected low was here. So until we got below here, we were still bullish. So even though it's trading down and it's taking out lows along the way, we're still bullish until it gets below 272. And then we start looking bearish. And so then we saw price build back up. Relative equal low on the 1 hour, sitting right above current price. Okay. Appreciate that, Ray. But yes, in 5 minutes, we'll have the next macro for a 150 to 210. Yep, just below that, Ray, we also have a fair value gap, so that might be a nice little place for price to bounce. Right around 290, I guess. Oh, I forgot I have it on the 5 minute as well. Nice. Monday New York high, make it taken. I just want to see if we're above 75. I can eyeball it and see that we are, but I just want to confirm that 75 would be about here. We made it all the way up to 78, 83 and a half, 83.5%. We've dug into this fair value gap here. So it's not very much left. And usually when you get that deep into the fair value gap, it's getting weaker and you have an opportunity for price to trade through it. Okay, almost there. Right now we're in the macro. Let's see if it will break through that New York high now. See, there we go. There's that level. Broken through the fair value gap, the hour. So in the next 10 minutes, if we can close above, then this fair value gap disappears. It will be invalidated on the hourly time frame. It may invert to where we can find support from it on a retracement back, or we'll just wait and see if something else happens. But if we can close above in the next 9 minutes, and let's see where our next target is. All right, so Monday's London high, which is the weekly high, which is the all-time high. And that's at 18,377.75. So basically what happened is Sunday evening, price opened up, and the first thing it did was ran for a new weekly high and then started selling off for a couple days. And now we're building back up. We just turned bullish again. We have a positive candle for the week, and we have the all-time high within reach, about another 25 points. Mm, not necessarily. I mean, it could happen. It really depends on how we invest. So let's look at 2 o'clock and see if we close above this fair value gap. Because if we do, then I don't necessarily see a pullback soon. Maybe when we reach this level, there'll be a pullback at 377. Now, if we do not close above here at 2 o'clock and we close inside or below, then possibly we'll have a pullback. Jimmy Singh macro, if you've ever watched ICT, it's something that he talks about a lot. So that's where I first picked it up. But it's a 20-minute time period where there's instructions built into the price system, price delivery, where it runs for liquidity. And so what we just saw during this macro period, right as it started, it went and took the New York high from Monday. So some people went short and they were able to hold on to their trade ever since Monday all the way until now. And so all of those trades have now been liquidated. They probably had stop losses placed right there. And now that prices run through it, those stop losses have now been taken. Go down to the 1 minute since we're inside of this period here. I know these lines I have drawn here are faint, and you may not be able to see them, but it works for me. It helps me identify those areas or the time period that I should be looking. No problem, Jimmy. $358 is a pivot on the NQ. Okay. Equal highs here. Okay. Yeah. Good idea, Ray. I'll try that one as well. So consolidation during lunch to continue the morning trend. Let me just jump over to the hour for a second, for a moment. All right, so we had relative equal highs here, swept, relative equal highs here also taken. Let's see. And yeah, I think that's it. So now I'm looking, there's really nothing else before we get to the high of the week. Possibly 50% of this wick here as a spot to take partials if you're in a long. Oh, wow. Good eyeball. I got it right on. All right. At 370. Okay, what's your entry to short? Is it the 359 level? At least we did get a sweep of that level. We had equal highs. It swept through, traded back down, and closed below. Yeah, I'm not seeing that level of reversal here, but it could happen. I don't know. $360. Okay. All right. Ray and I definitely would have been wrong here, and invest, you would have been on point. Where's my guy who was asking about whether we would get a reversal here? Khaled, I think that was Khaled who asked early on. Yep, it was Khaled who asked. Yeah, that would have been a quick 20 points if you wanted that invest. I'm not sure if it'll keep going, but that would have delivered 20 points if you were looking for that. And whoever was looking for a pullback, some sort of retracement, this just might be it. Okay, it was also invest. All right, same person. All right, so this is where you want to look at this cluster here. And you want to look at 50% and see if it trades into that. And that's this right centerpiece right there. 838 or 338. I can't see this today. 338. Yeah, scalpers would have ate really good. They would have taken that down and back up. If we can reclaim our area, then for those who sometimes can't see breakers, this would be it. I mean, we're on a low time frame, so I'll move up and see if we can't find one on a higher one. Okay, same area. That's good. Three-minute. I like at least two candles, so let's try this one on the 2-minute again, just like we did during lunch. It seemed to work out. We want to see if this candle plus the next one will create us a fair value gap as well. But first we have to break through and close above 360. Okay, so no fair value gap here. At least not yet. So maybe what we'll get is this type of action down here. And then back up with an impulse, leaving a fair value gap somewhere in here. Still want to see one created. And remember, we're in the macro period, so you definitely want to see it created during this time frame. We go down to the 1 minute. Okay, so we got one. Okay, so now what we want is price to trade above and close above somewhere up here. All right, we're in the silver bullet time frame. Keep that in mind. We're here looking at a fair value gap for a long. All right, so I would have liked to have seen price close above and then trade back into the fair value gap and then out. That would have been ideal for me. But we'll see how this plays out. For everyone watching, still learning about breakers, this breaker hasn't been confirmed until it closes above. So we need to close above, and so far we haven't gotten that. But we did get a close below this, so this is invalidated. Let's see now if we get a push back through, creating another fair value gap for us. And if not, we'll just return back in another 40 minutes and we'll do another macro at 250 to 310. All right. Anyone looking at it? Okay. So if you are looking for a short, like Shark is looking for, you want to see this level not hold. You want to see price break below that. Pull this back until we get a confirmation. All right. That concludes our macro. And what we got and what we received here was a sweep of lows. So liquidity sweep there. Now we see an impulse moving up. So we'll keep monitoring to see how far that goes. Let me just move these lines out of the way. Okay, keep following price. Let's see if it'll break the high, which would have been a protected high as it started moving lower. We can break here, and then we're looking on the upside again. You know what? Let me move to the 5-minute now. We got a strong candle going on the 5-minute right now, but it's getting ready to close in 10 seconds. So let's see how the next candle develops. Okay, we got a completely inside range candle here. So the next candle should hopefully reach external. Do I feel comfortable taking quick scalps? Not necessarily. Not what I would be looking for. If I was gonna take a quick scalp, it'd be more on a continuation, or like something here where we have a continuation, and then on just a retracement into the previous candle once it closes. Okay, if the previous candle closes above the one before it, I would take the next candle on a retracement back down, back up above the candle's high, and that would be my quick scalp. Okay, while we did get a break above the previous candle's high, it's still trading inside of the range here. All right, just in case we get a deeper retracement, let's go ahead and identify where we could find some support. Okay, on this time frame, that's all I got. You have there, and then you have an order block here. Oh, okay. Sometimes when I'm looking at EMAs, I do see sometimes that when they touch, you'll get a nice bounce. And depending on the time frame, if you backtest enough, you can almost predict um, how far they'll go. Whether it's every time they touch, it always bounce for 10 points or 20 points, just depending on which time frame you're on. Which EMAs are you using? Cool. 1348 and 200. Okay. All right. As we reach the fair value gap, which it looks like it's going to do, let's pay attention to the middle value, consequent encroachment of 329. So basically 330, and see how it reacts from there. Okay. So we're in equilibrium now. We're down in discounted prices. At 1, 2 taps below into discount. Let's see if it pushes price higher. Hmm. We're about a little over halfway through this candle, and so far it's looking like it may turn bullish on us, which is, obviously what we're looking for. All right. So we're seeing price really, really get stuck trying to go higher. And so I wonder if that has anything to do with that New York high from Monday being possibly the objective for the session. Right. Or it could just be stalling to create liquidity to go and make a quick run and take it, trap everyone short, and then continue long. Oh, do they? Okay. Yeah, I mean, from what I understand, or from all the things I've gathered, I've talked to many traders throughout my 3 years of trading, and it seems like almost everything works, right? Some people, you just got to find something that works for you, something that you like, something that when you see it, it inspires you. But outside of that, I wouldn't get too caught up in, oh, I want to do that, or mine is better than yours, and all that. It's just find something that works for you, find something that speaks to you, and then master that. Because yeah, you can use support and resistance, you can use EMAs, you can use VWAP, you can use all those things. They only exist because they do work. It's working for someone. There you go, Shark. That's the hardest skill. It's mastering yourself and your own relationship with money. And you're right, trend lines work too. It's just all right. We're coming up on 2:30 soon. So let's see if 2:30. A lot of times you'll get a pivot around half past the hour. So let's see if 2:30 gives us a pivot and we start racing for these highs that we've been hoping for the last 25 minutes. Okay, let's move this off the screen now. Okay, while we wait, let's get an update on the other indices and the dollar. All right, far left, we see the dollar reaching a new low for the hour. Dollar continue reaching lower. It's almost at its lowest point of the hour as well. So we could see it push even further. We see the Dow, even though last hour it started recovering, I said, okay, Dow is back on board. We're all moving up. And now the Dow is leading the charge downwards again, back to retest the fair value gap, most likely. All right. And we see really the largest pullback of the day for Nasdaq and S&P. Both creating equal highs, given a target for price to move back upwards at some point if it doesn't do it this hour. Even the Dow is leaving equal highs, so even its pullback here, like I say, if it gets to the fair value gap, wouldn't surprise me if it then moves up and takes out the equal highs there. So good to get that quick update as we approach 2:30 here. All right, looks like we have quite a few people in the room now, so I just want to welcome all the newcomers who it's your first day finding the stream, or you've been here just a handful of times, but not maybe you discovered us this week. I just want to remind you to go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification to make sure you don't miss any invitations for the live stream. We live stream in the morning and afternoon every day. Yeah, this kind of price action we're getting now without any movement, really indicative of what we saw when we looked at the comparison of the three indices with the dollar. They were all bearish at the moment, and then you see the stall price action. So it really makes sense. What you want to see is the opposite. You want to see the dollar moving one direction and the three indices the opposite direction, and that's what we saw all morning long. We got really good price action, and we got movement towards liquidity targets. Now that we've reached one of the liquidity targets from Monday, we see now that price has stalled a bit. Liquidity build. Yeah. Yeah, has everyone guessing here whether we're going to continue upwards and grab those close targets or whether we're going to shoot down and retrace a bit. So, yeah, let both sides enter. Yeah, we see it went right off of the low here at 37 flat, 337 flat, taking out the highs of the previous two candles. Let's look and see now as it retraces to half of this candle, whether we take out that high and keep building on that. Yeah, that could be valid. It could be just holding us for a bit, continue to gather some orders, just move back and forth until someone feels like, oh man, I got to get in now. And so you get everyone trapped in there. And then, you know, you hope you're on the right side once things start moving. Right. So we got a new high over the previous candle once again. At 330. Yeah, sometimes it does that to you. Mm-hmm. The good thing about 330 retracements is it's running out of time, so it has to get moving. That's one thing I do like about price action at the end of the day. You're not going to get any deep retracement unless it's one candle that just, you know, obliterates everyone. I mean, that can happen as well. So you make sure you have your stop loss. But for the most part, you know that it has 30 to 40 minutes to get to its target. So it gets moving pretty quickly. Yeah, it may have one or two retracements just to make sure people aren't trailing their stops too close. But outside of that, it usually moves towards target. All right, go ahead and touch the 50%. Oh, okay. So it finally did cross over the 50% mark. Now let's see if it continues upwards or if it breaks down. I appreciate that. Thanks for the like. All right, that looks a little better. Yep. For everyone who asked me about the macro and what it is and how to use it and those kind of things, if you click my social media link in the description, click on the social media link and it'll drive you to it'll give you a link for the Discord. Add yourself in, get into the channel, get into the room, and then you'll see there's a room called Trading Library. Inside of the Trading Library is a video about macros. It's a link to a YouTube video, so it's another YouTube video, but it's about macros and how to use them and what they are by a guy named Flux Trades. But go into the Discord, find that video. It's only, I mean, there's only like 10 videos, so it won't be hard to find. And the title of the video is How to Trade Macros, and then you'll have a better understanding of what they are. But go into my description, look for the social media link, click on that, and within that link will be a Discord link, and then follow your way through to Trading Library. And inside of Trading Library, there'll be several videos about breaker blocks, silver bullet, macros, the ICT 2022 mentorship. Some of those same ideas for all of you who are not as familiar with ICT concepts. Let's move this up to the next one. See if we get the same. If we get a retracement into half of it, and then we get it to continue buying up. Oh, Aussie pass. Hmm. Oh, no problem. No problem. Cool. Got you. Not surprising. Not surprising. Yeah, Ozzy's pretty resilient. His body is stronger than most. Okay, we got about another 5 minutes, and then we'll be looking at the 250 to 310 macro. We'll be heading into power hour. Let's drop down to 1 minute and watch it on the 1 minute now. This was the range of that last 5 minute candle. Uh, it can. Just keep in mind tomorrow's NFP. It really depends on where we close today for me. I think if we hit an all-time high today, then it's probably less likely. If we start retracing and we just kind of consolidate until the end of today, and then during London, it's still not doing much, but it does some sort of retracement here, then I think potentially we can definitely run past the all-time highs tomorrow and keep going. If we reach it today, then it really is going to depend on when NFP is announced tomorrow, how does price react, whether we get a huge bearish candle or whether it's just a retracement back into the zone for more bullish momentum. Mm. I think if we do get, because it retraced so much this week, if we do finish bullish, it's going to have such a long a long wick on the weekly time frame, that if that happens tomorrow, then next week for sure we're gonna be bearish for a bit as we retrace into that wick. It's not gonna leave a wick that's, you know 380 points or so just lying there. It's gonna definitely want to trade into that. Right now, the on the weekly candle, the wick is from 840 to 330, so you're talking almost a 500-point wick. All right, let's just peek back over at the 5 minute before we hit the macro, and we stay on the 1 minute for the next 20 minutes. Oh, okay. All right. Finally made a high. Made a new high from the previous candle. Let's see if it can't get up to 358. On this time frame, we're still bullish. We never switched over. Okay, we're now in the macro period. We're going to drop down to the 1 minute frame and watch it from there. And last bullish candle in the 1 minute was able to pierce this high here. Oops, let me slide it down, which had become the protected high. Now that the protected high has been traded through, but it did retrace and close below, we want to see it trade through and close above. Okay. 1, 2, 3. All right. We'll say as much as we're all looking for higher prices here. We do have a daily range of over 450 points. So it may not want to do that right now. Dollar still pushing lower. It's at its lowest value of the hour. Nasdaq looks to be the only indice flirting with a bullish candle this hour. It's right at where it began. So if we go to 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock open right here at 53.5, and that's right where we are. Okay, let's see if we can't push through. There we go. We're in the macro period. Can we close above? So once again, we see a shift in structure here during macro, but let's see if it closes above so it confirms it. So in fact, this is not yet a market structure shift. It's just a breakup structure. Okay, let's go back to the macro we had at 150. So 2 hours ago, or no, 150. So about an hour ago. Let's drag that back over. See if we can't get a trade above and a close above somewhere here, and then it becomes valid. Hopefully this price action that goes up does it in an impulse fashion that leaves a fair value gap behind. In fact, let's not jinx it. Let's pull it back until it gets there. Our hour's up in about 4 minutes. We'll be in the last hour of trading today, which is commonly known as power hour. Customer credit report. Okay. All right. So we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 piercings above this level. However, we can't get a close above just yet. Oh, to break the uptrend? Well, the uptrend, once this kind of structure broke there, we got a protected low down here now. Guess we don't need this trend line anymore. Oh, and a closure down here. Okay. There we go. Look at that. Let's see if we get a closure below all of this. 40 more seconds. We're going to say we can get a retrace down to about 280 to 250. 10 more seconds on this candle. Wait a minute. Let's see what news we're all talking about. Consumer credit. This is a low impact at 3 o'clock. See, it's not even there yet. So I don't know. I have no idea what this is. All right, there's the meltdown. There it goes. All right, let's go to the daily here. It's our daily candle. All right, we're looking for a right here at 20%, 25, and possibly 30. We'll start with 20, and that's at 271, 25% at 250. So yeah, I thought it'd be anywhere from 280 to 250, but it could go as far as 225. All right, so 275, 250, 225. Right, I don't know if you heard that, but it is thundering outside, raining pretty heavily, even though we're in Phoenix. So if I lose power, I apologize. You'll be surprised how often we lose power in Phoenix every time there's high winds. I think it's because the trees are so dry that they break easily, and so branches fall on power lines. Johan, congrats. Congrats. Yeah, so the last place I stayed at had lots of scorpions. But where I'm staying now, it's more center in the center of the city, and so there's not that many. I was living in Tempe before, which is just outside of the center of town. I mean, it's still Metro Phoenix and pretty close, but just outside of the center of town. And in that neighborhood, I saw one or two scorpions every week. But I'm sorry, not every week, one or two scorpions every month. Yep. Yeah, and the thing about it is, there's not a lot you can do as far as it's not like you use pesticides to kill the scorpions, What you have to do is use pesticides to kill the scorpion's food, and then they'll go somewhere else because scorpions are extremely resilient. I don't think so. I think they sting pretty good, but I don't know if it's lethal. All right, so we're 5 minutes into power hour. We have another 5 minutes until the macro completes. We've already seen it break structure to the downside. We've seen, wow, almost, oh, it came all the way back to the breaker from lunch. I hear you, Robin. Yeah. Queen took 1,000 in that drop. Way to go. Mm. Yeah, I've never gone that far to check my shoes for scorpions, but they can, you'd be surprised at where they are and how they get in your house. I mean, those tiny, small little slivers of cracks in your front door, they'll find a way to slide through those. And then here, a lot of walls and things are sandstone colored, so they just blend right in. You never know they were there. Oh, was 1,200? Oh, you couldn't get out, so you got it at 1,000. That's cool. Okay, so you're looking for a 280. I see. Okay. That was kind of where I had the first target of doing the TGIF on a daily as opposed to the weekly candle. It worked pretty well on Tuesday when we had the huge bearish candle to watch it at the end of the day do a pullback, and it looks like it just may work today on the bullish candle. Yep, so 234 queen would be 30%, so it's still that same type of TGIF setup, but on a daily candle. So I mean, I need to test that more often just to see if it works. But the 2 days I've looked at it this week, it seems like it's something you can use. No, not really. No, I was looking for a long setup, and price just kind of dropped like that. I didn't want to jump in and sell it off like that. But I mean, I may look for something in the next 10 to 15 minutes. I want to let it settle and figure out where it's at as opposed to just trying to chase price. Because it'll be just my luck. I say, oh, okay, it's going to continue as a short, and I jump in, and then all of a sudden it buys up again. So, and Khaled, I'm also being aware of the fact that, like I mentioned earlier, we've already had a 450 point range on the daily, and so I don't want to get caught in the middle, hoping that price is going to do one thing or the other, and it just fades until 4 o'clock. 20. Yeah, we can always hold this over. Use this as a 5 minute breaker here. And if you get a trade back up, then maybe you can go short here at 333, which oddly enough, 333 was our target coming up. That was, let's see, what was 330? Was that the New York high from Monday? Oh, you said 50% of it? Let me check that out. Oh yeah, okay. Trade it back up to premium position and maybe it can continue. Yeah, another thing I've been noticing is that when you have on a daily, I noticed that the candles sometimes like to have equal size wick above and below. And the wick below the body seems to be about 125 points. So if we got the same above 360, we'd be looking at 235 roughly. And what did Queen say? 233. So there you have it. That might be where it's headed. We have 9, then you have 287, 264, all the way down, 3 standard deviations at 241, right at the edge of fair value gap, 1 hour. Uh, 50% where? Where are you looking for it at? Yeah, we already did the 50%. So if you take it from the high of the candle at 255 down to the 3 o'clock candle, right? It retraced about 30% within the same candle. Then the next candle came in and retraced up to the 50% and then down. Oh, you don't use the wick? Okay. Ooh, okay. If you don't use the wick, then yeah, you didn't get it. You didn't get a retracement to 50%. And in that case, what you might get during this hour, you might get a pullback back above and then somewhere in this range. Delete this. Right? Because we do have this fair value gap here that hasn't been touched. The same on every time frame, or at least on the 3, 4, 5. Okay, maybe this is your 50%. Let's see if it charges back up. Almost 62% on the retracement for the afternoon. Well, not even the afternoon, before that, since about 11 o'clock. Traded to a discount, hit the breaker again. Yeah, we're going to see exactly what it wants to do between these two breakers. So we have the bullish breaker from lunch. We have the bearish breaker just created at 3 o'clock that shot price downwards. And then let's see how it wants to trade here, and whether we see an opening to get an entry between now and 345-ish. Then when we get to 350, then we'll look for a separate entry to close out the session. All right. Looks like it's going to retest the lows, the low of 295, and then following that back into the breaker. Okay, so I'm noticing here, ever since it moved down, it's making a lower high each candle. Oh, Darren McCardle. No, I don't know anything about the GBIO. Not sure what that is, but appreciate the donation. But no, I'm not sure what that is. Invest. See you tomorrow. Glad you was able to get the short you were looking for. Um, no, I wouldn't give up too soon. It's still only 20 minutes into the hour. Power hour normally can deliver a decent sized range in a short period of time. Mighty. Right now, it's been short. It's been short ever since the hour began. You can see the size range that it delivered, about 65 points. And it only took less than 10 minutes to do that. So, not sure what the rest of the hour is going to bring, but we're going to continue to monitor price action and see if it gives us an indication that we should take an entry and where we need to find a draw on liquidity as well. Right now, it's bouncing between a bearish fair value gap that was created, um, bearish breaker that was created, sorry, bearish breaker that was created. And then we had a bullish breaker created during lunch that sent price up. So it sent price up, sent it back down, and now it's in between these two ranges. Exactly. Yeah, let's watch the 3:30 and see if we get a pivot. Oh, oh man, sorry about that shark. Dang, that's tough. Jeez, unbelievable. But you're on point. You saw it and you had a good feeling about it. Just just a little nervous, I guess. Okay, you'll catch the next one. Let me go down to the 3 minute and see if maybe one of the lower time frames is giving us information that we need. Yep. I do want to let everybody know, even though we're looking at the 3 minute here, this is H1 fair value gap. So we're on the 1 hour. This fair value gap is on the 1 hour at 18,286. So we might actually find some support for price there since it's a much higher time frame. Or you in. All right, Darren, appreciate that. All right, Martin, I'm glad you're here. Welcome to the channel. If you have any questions or anything for me, just throw it in the chat and let me know. All right, Queen. So you're looking for some sort of build up here and then come back down for the end of the day, end up here. So that's going to be, okay, so about a 50-point move if you can catch it from the top. All right. Yeah, we'll see what it brings. I'm optimistic we'll get another entry before the day ends. We got about 30 minutes. So let's see now. Now that it's 3:30, a lot of times we'll get during this time frame, there will be some sort of pivot and you'll see price move in the opposite direction. So let's see if that's what we get. And if we do, stay flexible because price can change and flip the opposite direction quickly. So let's see if that happens. Yeah, it's a good question. I'm not really sure. Not really sure what's special about those stocks. They're most likely, I mean, it could be stocks, it could be crypto. I don't know. But on this channel, we trade futures, and in particular, we trade Nasdaq and sometimes ES futures, but mostly Nasdaq futures. So while the information is appreciated, it's not something that I'm gonna put a lot of time into right now. All right, we got another half hour today. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you hit the like button now. Let's see if YouTube can't send us a few more traders before we finish up today and finish up strong this next half hour. In fact, I'll probably go about 10 minutes longer as long as price is still moving. When we close out, maybe I'll hang around till 10 after 4 when prop firms close out their trading. Monty, it just depends. It really depends on what I see. I try not to do more than 2 per session. And sometimes I go all day and it won't take one trade, or not one trade in my live account. Sometimes I'll do it in my demo account, which is off screen on another, off camera on another screen. Um, so it really just depends. Thank you, Martin. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Okay, we're up to 58 likes, so that's a little better. All right, we'll see if, like I said, at 3:30, sometimes you get a pivot. Let's see if this is what we were looking for. All right, Darren, again, I appreciate the info. But this is a futures trading room. So we're not looking into any of those stocks. And I don't know if you're getting commission from those stocks or what. But I appreciate you giving us the info, but that's all we need. We don't need any more. Well, I haven't seen TJ in a while. I'm not sure where he is. The all-time high. I think the all-time high is likely we're going to fall tomorrow. I was thinking maybe it would have fell this afternoon. I mean, this afternoon's not over yet. I mean, all-time high is not that. It's it's up there, but it's here. I mean, we can still see it on the screen. It's 377, so it's less than 100 points away. Philip, I'm not even sure what that is. Nope. CJ, I'm looking for breaker blocks, which is, well, the setup is called the unicorn, which is a breaker block, which what you see in blue with the fair value gap inside. So I usually take my trades off of those setups, or that type of setup. I have also used the ICT 2022 model, which is very similar, but In the 2022 model, the fair value gap doesn't have to be inside of the breaker. A lot of times it's above the breaker. And so you see price breakout and there's a breaker above. It trades back in the breaker and then takes off. So I use those mostly. Optimal trade entry, I've been known to take those trades as well. But ICT concepts in general. Good. Yeah, we've had quite a few new faces join in the chat this afternoon as well as yesterday, and I also noticed that yesterday we had probably the most views I've ever had in one session. I think we were up to around 700 in total. Um, I mean, obviously most people popped in and popped out, but we had sustained 100 people for quite some time yesterday. So it's good to see a lot of energy here in the afternoon. So it looks like there is a need for afternoon live day trading. All right, looks like price might be waiting for this macro to come at 350. So 350 to 410. We'll see if we get that push that we're looking for. Monty, I'm just now hit 3 years. Just now, just this actually last month, end of February, I hit 3 years. The first year was, I mean, you can count it as my first year of trading, but I was all over the place. I didn't really know what or where I was going. But the last 2 years have really been focused on trading ICT concepts. Thank you, Crab. Appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, I know, Molly. But maybe some people are using YouTube without logging in, and if you don't log in, you can't hit the like button or subscribe. So maybe that's the issue. Okay, I did see something about it. Said the Topstep guys were in Vegas this week. Sure. That'll have most likely the best time to do that would be on the weekend. So maybe I will do a back testing video or stream. I know it's been requested by other subscribers as well. So you're not the first one to ask for a back testing video. Nope, trading is what I do. That's what I do, Marty. Oh, laughter. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Okay, so we are getting price to build up here. We're taking out this short term low, a short term high here. All right, Miss Healthy. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you. Looking to see if we ever get a fair value gap here that can be used to trade back into for a long. That one possibly. And this is about all we got on the 2 minute. Oh, I'm sorry, on the 1. And now let's check the 2 minute. So it's about the same area, but a little smaller. And I'm just looking at this to see if this would be potentially like a ICT 2022 where you get a sweep of liquidity and then a build out with fair value gap. So far, I'm not seeing it. Okay, in just 7 or 8 minutes, we will have the macro showing up. All right, we just touched that bearish fair value gap or bearish breaker above us. No, there's no code. You just have to click the link. You have to click the link and you have to be a new customer. So if you already have used Topstep before, you won't be able to get the discount. All right. Follow. Thank you. Thanks for joining today. Also, thanks for coming in the chat and saying hello. I appreciate it. Yeah, you're right. We did have equal lows right here that we had a sweep below, and then we saw price start to build out of it. Yeah, this was a form of sell side liquidity having these equal lows, but I guess the ultimate sell side would have been down at 288. Um, yeah, I would possibly take this one. It's going to definitely have to hit equilibrium because this is a huge range here. For the last 20 minutes for me, but if it can get to equilibrium, I can be swayed into that one. I can see that one working. Yeah, you're right. It was within 1 or 2 ticks of 50%. So you're right, right there. Was that Martin said that? Yeah, it was right there, Martin. Oh, Antonio's here. What's going on? Yes. Uh, yeah, equilibrium, consequent encroachment, same term, interchangeable terms, Frank. Um, no, if I'm just looking for an entry, no, I just need a breach, right? So if I was looking to enter at this breaker and go short, um, then I would just need it to touch and then I'd be ready to go short. If I was looking for the breaker to be validated because it hasn't been, like this breaker was validated on this candle when it closed below. If it had just peaked below and then traded back in, it wouldn't have been validated for me. So in that case, I would have needed it to close below and then trade back in. And when it trade back in, you immediately, whether I wanted, like if I wanted the edge, I would have taken it immediately there. If I wanted this middle point of the fair value gap, I would have taken it immediately when it touched. Not necessarily looking for a close, just looking for a touch. Because you got to remember, Frank, on your entries, you're going to have a limit order, and the limit order is going to activate as soon as price touches that price point. Oh, a 15-minute fair value gap. Oh, let me find that. Rachel, hello. Thanks for joining. Nasdaq, for the most part, yes. I only trade Nasdaq. I started out doing the Dow mostly. It was always US 30, US 30, US 30. And then I found S&P 500 and I started doing that. And it was kind of too slow for me coming from doing the Dow before. And then Nasdaq is like that sweet spot in the middle. So I like Nasdaq. Yeah, Queen, this was what you were looking for. You wanted a touch here, and then you wanted to short back down to the fair value gap I thought you were looking for. Yep. Yeah, Rachel, are you familiar with ICT concepts? That's generally how I trade. You're in it till 410. Okay. Well, Queen, you were spot on there. I was hoping we would get something here during the macro period, so I'm still waiting. 15. All right, CJ, good job. I hadn't been looking at the 15. I just pulled the 15 up now, and I see that fair value gap sitting there. I'm looking on another screen so I can see it. Mm. Oh, well, ICT is an educator on YouTube, and his concept, he has, I don't know, 10 to 15 entry models that he's already put on YouTube to show. And so when I say ICT concepts, it's largely breaker blocks. He had a 2022 mentorship which was based on one entry model. So it'll take a lot of time to go through ICT concept. But if you go into the description of my video where it says social media, click on that link. And once you get inside that link, there's going to be another link for the Discord. Log into the Discord, and then you'll see an ICT folder that just has links to his videos based on different subject matter. And then you can become more familiarized with ICT concepts. And then it'll be easier for us to discuss this. Blue rectangles are breaker blocks. Breaker block is generally a reversal pattern. Right, so you have one of these situations where see all the, even from the bottom, this low was protected. It made a new high. It started coming down to make a new low. It didn't sweep below this low here. Then it made a new high, retrace, did not sweep below this low, made a new high. And in order to do the breaker, you need to break this low. So then you need price to come down. Right? And once you get that, then your breaker is from, it's from here. So you had price go above and price came below. And then from there, you're going to be looking for price then to return back up. And that'd be your entry. And then you want it to continue lower, taking out this low. So what we have here is there was a breaker that was created here. And then there was a breaker created up here. And so price came down and then it built right back up here to the previous breaker. And now it's coming back down again. Oops. Right. So that's why you have a one below and one above, and price is just kind of bouncing between now. Hey, we're inside of the macro now, so let's see what we get. Oh, did he? Okay. I didn't realize ICT did that. Yes, ICT resources. That's the one. You found it. Perfect. Yeah, if you want to, what is his name? Alakune. If you want to, if you go to the just below or just above where it says trading library, go to trading library and you'll see links to YouTube videos that'll also point you in the right direction. And those videos are more summary videos from ICT students, just like me, another student. And their videos are much shorter and sometimes a little easier to understand. So you might want to start there first, where if you go to trading library, there's one on market structure, and then you get to his 2022 mentorship where there's 3 videos. Then the next video is on macros. And then from there, you also see one on breaker blocks and the silver bullet setup. So that's probably a better place to start. So go to the trading library category. And then once you finish that, then go to the ICT resources, and any subject that you didn't understand when you watched the previous videos, then that'll be a specific video just on that subject. Yeah, Power Hour is good. Power Hour can deliver. And the thing about it is, like I said, it's quick. You don't have to worry. You don't have to wait around for 3 hours for your trade to deliver. trade inside the range. Okay. So he's saying don't expect it to run through, just short when it gets up here, long when it gets down. Okay. So it's right now it's about a 35 to 40 point range here. Yes, Khaled, you can start your education, as I just told the other person. In the Discord, go to Trading Library, and you'll see one in there that says how to trade macros, and then there's another one that says breaker blocks simplified just below it. You put those two videos together, and you'll have a pretty good understanding of what I'm looking for when I'm trading. Magic Keys tutorial. Yeah, it does look like Seek and Destroy now, where it's just back and forth. In fact, it's not even making it all the way down. It's just selling and selling. So what I'm thinking might happen is we may get a push up into this fair value gap, either right in a couple minutes or throughout 4 o'clock. You may see it just kind of trickle up a bit. Do one of these, right, all the way into the fair value gap. And then when it comes to 1800, when it opens back up, then we'll see price drop. And then price will do whatever it does throughout the Asia session, throughout the London session. It will come in tomorrow. If we come in the morning at 9:30 open and we still have this all-time high available, then I'm going to be looking for the session to take that. If we come in the morning and the all-time high was taken during London, then I think we may be at our high for the week. But I'll update everyone on that in the morning when we start our session. TGIF tomorrow. I don't know because I'm looking at the well, maybe. It depends. Right now we don't have any candle on the weekly. I mean, there's no body. We're right around the open of Sunday night now. So it really depends on what it looks like tomorrow morning, what happened during Asia session, what happened during the London session. So without taking the all-time high tomorrow, there will not be a TGIF. All right, Antonio. Yeah, I think so. Yep, and that's true. Tomorrow's NFP, so buckle up. Yeah, that's true. I'm not gonna trade NFP. I'm gonna wait for 30 minutes or so after that and then start looking at what price action is doing. Keep the questions coming. This has been good this afternoon. I like it. How much did you have when you started trading? Sorry, Marty. I think that question is irrelevant to trading. If you're talking about money, how much did I have? We trade prop firms, so you don't need any money. All right, there it is. We finally got a touch back down on the bullish fair value or the bullish breaker. Last time was at 3 o'clock. Now it's 4:02. Yeah, Marty. I don't know. It could be cultural or something. We don't generally ask people how much money they have in their bank account. Ooh, okay. Look at that. All right. So price is trying to tell us. Hopefully, it's trying to tell us that the all-time high is going to still be available to us tomorrow. Yeah, Queen. I think you were the first one to tell me that the price trades from breaker to breaker, and eventually, if this breaker fails and it trades below, then there's going to be another breaker below that it's going to trade to next. Me too, Chuck. I Matter of fact, if I remember correctly, I think I took a live trade. Matter of fact, that's the first thing I did. I started looking into trading, and on like the second or third day of looking at tutorials, I went ahead and funded an account to get started. Like that's how I I felt like I needed to get started. Is I needed to start making money immediately, and so extremely long story short, that account was blown as quickly as I'd funded it. And you're right. If I had known about combines and trading demo for the first year and that kind of thing until you was really comfortable, I would have saved a lot of money. All right, let me go ahead and clean up my screen and get ready for tomorrow. Queen, you still in there? I know you said you're holding on until 10 after. Okay, Chuck is healthy. Yeah, I think that's how we all do it. We find out from a friend of ours about trading, not from a true mentor or anyone like that, and we just don't get that sound advice until we've blown our account and we throw our hands in the air and say, okay, how do I figure this out? I think that's how I end up finding ICT is because after blowing my account multiple times and realizing I didn't know how to trade is when I then had to start looking for some sort of education that was going to teach me how to trade. And then once I started learning, I'm the person who always asks why. So I needed to know why a candle was moving as opposed to someone telling me when you see this, enter. Because then I didn't know how to manage the trade. I was in the trade, but as it moved around, I didn't know when to stay and when to cancel my trade, where to TP. All those things were foreign and I didn't know anything about them. So ICT was what resonated with me, and that's how I latched on to his concepts. Yeah, me too, Antonio. You're right about that, man. Never give up. Stay in the game. But be honest with yourself and let yourself know what you don't know and go out and do it. And then put in the work, because there was a lot of work that went in. I mean, thousands of hours worth of watching tutorials, tape reading, practicing with a demo account. I mean, just tons of time. And that was all while I was still working a full-time job. Sweet. Laughter. Good job. Way to go. Start grabbing car payments in 10, 15 minutes. Let me continue to clean up my chart. So tomorrow morning we'll be good to go and ready. 235. I think that was the level which we were looking at. And as far as the TGIF, who was that asked me for a TGIF? And I told him we probably wouldn't get it. Can't find it. Anyway, I used the same TGIF concept on the daily candle today, and I think that lower level of 30% retracement was down at 235. So it looks like we're getting there. And Queen, I think that was the level you were looking at way early, like a long time ago, maybe 2 o'clock, 2:30. Yeah, sure, Robin. All right, Martin. See you tomorrow. Thanks for joining. Well, it depends. It depends. Frank, are you talking about using the app? I mean, sorry, the indicators from Nephew Sam? If that's what you're saying, then no, there's no way to delete just one and not all. All you do is you have it set up to where when they're invalidated, it deletes them for you. Um, yep. Why would you want to delete one? All right, HDS. Appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Right on. Right on, Queen. Yeah, Frank. So what you do here is what you want to do is make sure you have check delete boxes after fill. Uh, I think that's the option you need to select. Yeah, you delete boxes after fill. So once it's invalidated, it'll delete that one for you, and it'll just keep doing that every time one gets invalidated. Right. The reason why mine you see they're not disappearing is because remember I switched my option, so they're on the hourly. So mine will only disappear after the hour is over. And this candle right here that traded below and closed, it did it at 4:05. So until 5 o'clock, this fair value gap is still valid on the hourly time frame. Oh, I see. Okay, the one that I'm targeting. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, there's no way to just handpick which ones you want to delete. The only way to do that is you got to go in and start manually putting them in again. And I'm trying not to do that because I'll be juggling too many things and I'll forget some. But that was a good question, though. All right, everyone. That'll do it for today's session. It's been a really good one. So thank you all for this afternoon's participation. Thanks for supporting the channel. Make sure you hit the like button on your way out. If you have not subscribed yet, go ahead and do that. Subscribe, hit the notification button. Make sure that we see you again on another session. And yeah, it's been really good. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 9:15, and then we'll have an afternoon session at 1300. Everyone have a good rest of your day, and cheers. Peace. See you later.